If you've been watching the South Whidbey real estate market and wondering whether luxury homes are still a smart buy right now or whether prices have peaked and you should wait, you are in exactly the right place. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what the luxury market here on South Whidbey Island is actually doing right now, where prices are landing, how long homes are sitting before they sell, and what that means for buyers who are serious about making a move. This is not generic advice you could pull from any national real estate headline. This is hyper local data pulled directly from our market. So stick around because by the end of this video, you'll have a clear picture of what to expect and what to do next. Before we dive in, I just want to take a quick second to say if you're already thinking about buying, selling, or making a move to South Whidbey Island, I would love to connect with you personally. Every single week, I hear from people just like you who are researching this area, trying to decide if the timing is right and figuring out exactly what their budget can get them here. And honestly, those conversations are my favorite part of what I do. So if that's you, don't overthink it, just reach out. You can book a call directly on my Calendly link in the description below or shoot me a text at the number listed there. There is zero pressure, zero obligation, just a real conversation about your goals. Okay, let's get into market data. Let's start at the beginning because when we talk about luxury real estate on South Whidbey, it is important to define what that actually means in this market. For this video, we're looking specifically at homes priced at $1 million and above across South Whidbey Island and the surrounding residential real estate areas. These are typically waterfront properties, homes with significant acreage, custom builds with high-end finishes, or homes in premier locations with Puget Sound or Olympic Mountain views. This is not a starter home market. This is a market driven by lifestyle, privacy, and the very specific things that make South Whidbey Island one of the most desirable places to live in the entire Pacific Northwest. And what's important to understand is that this segment behaves very differently from the broader housing market. It's driven by different buyers, different motivations, and different timelines. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. All right, let's look at where the market actually stands right now. I'm going to walk you through the key numbers, and then I'll tell you what those numbers mean for you as a buyer. As of May 2026, for homes priced at $1 million and above on South Whidbey Island, the median sales price is $1,404,500. Now, here's where it really gets interesting. Let's look at what this means compared to the same time last year. In May of 2025, the median sales price was $1,273,500. That means we've seen a 10.3% increase in median sales price year over year. On the average sale price side, the story is even more dramatic. In May 2025, the average was $1,259,625. We're now at $1,728,625. That is a 37.2% increase in average sale price over the past 12 months. Now, I want to be thoughtful about how we interpret the average sale price jump because a 37% increase sounds dramatic, and it is, but average sale price in a low volume luxury market can be heavily influenced by a small number of very high-end sales. A few transactions at $2, $3, or $4 million can move the average significantly. The median, which is the middle point, is often a more reliable indicator of where the market is broadly, and that 10% increase tells us there is real sustained upward pressure on prices in this segment. Now let's look at inventory. As of the end of May 2026, there are 45 active listings priced above $1 million across South Whidbey Island. 45 listings might sound like a lot, but we need to put that in context with how quickly homes are actually selling. And that brings us to the absorption rate. The absorption rate, also called months of supply, measures how long it would take to sell all current inventory based on the pace of sales over the last 12 months. Right now, the luxury market on South Whidbey is sitting at 7.6 months of supply. Here's how to read that number. Traditionally, 6 months of supply is considered a balanced market, neither strongly favoring buyers nor sellers. Below 6 months tends to favor sellers, above 6 months tends to favor buyers. At 7.6 months, we are in a buyer favorable territory. That means buyers today have more negotiating room, more time to make decisions, and more options than they did during the frenzied market of 2021 and 2022. That is genuinely good news if you're on the buying side right now. One of the metrics I watch most closely in the luxury segment is days on market, how long a home sits before it goes under contract. This number tells you a ton about demand, and it often reveals opportunity for buyers who know how to read it. In the luxury segment, especially, a longer days on market number is not automatically a red flag. Sometimes it simply reflects that these homes are unique, that the buyer pool is smaller, or that the seller is patient and not in a rush. That's why it's so important to look at this data alongside everything else we're discussing today rather than in isolation. What it can tell you is that at 7.6 months of supply, homes in this price range are not flying off the shelf in days. Buyers have real time to evaluate, inspect, and negotiate, and that is a meaningful shift from where this market was just a few years ago. Use that time wisely. Hey, quick pause here. If you're watching this and thinking, I actually want to talk through what this market means for my specific situation, that's what I'm here for. You can book a call directly through my Calendly link in the description, or just text me at the number that's right there below the video. I make time every week for these conversations, and I would genuinely love to help you think this through. Let me step back from the raw numbers for a moment and talk about what's actually driving demand in this market, because understanding the why behind buyer behavior helps you make smarter decisions about timing. South Whidbey luxury buyers are not a monolith. You've got remote workers who relocated from Seattle and the Bay Area during and after the pandemic, people who realized they could have a waterfront lifestyle and still do their jobs. You've got retirees and pre-retirees who have been building wealth for 30 years and are now ready to land somewhere beautiful and quiet. And you've got lifestyle buyers who have fallen in love with this land and want a second home or a legacy property. What nearly all of them have in common is this: they're not buying because the market is cheap. They're buying because the lifestyle is worth it. That mindset matters because it means demand in this segment tends to be more resilient during broader market corrections. People who buy here for lifestyle reasons are less likely to sell during a downturn, which helps stabilize values over time. On top of that, South Whidbey has genuine scarcity working in its favor. The amount of waterfront land available is finite. Buildable land with views is finite. You cannot manufacture more of what makes this island special, and that long-term supply constraint is a fundamental driver of value here. Okay, this is the question you came here to get answered. Is now the right time to buy a luxury home on South Whidbey? My honest answer is it depends on your situation, but the data from the last 90 days tells a really compelling story. Let me walk you through what actually happened with the luxury market over the last 90 days, because this is where things really get interesting. We had 21 closed sales at $1 million and above on the south end, 21 transactions. And when you dig into the details of those sales, some clear patterns emerge. First, let's talk about the list to sale price ratio, meaning what percentage of the asking price did buyers actually pay. Across all 21 sales, the average list to sale ratio was 100.4%. That's right. On average, buyers in this market paid slightly above list price. Now, here's where the data gets really telling. Of those 21 sales, 16, that's 76%, had zero seller concessions. None. The seller walked away giving nothing back. Only 5 sales included any concessions at all, and the total concession dollar across those 5 transactions was $56,200. In a market where we're talking about homes selling for $1 to $3 million plus, 56,000 in total concessions across 5 deals is remarkably low. Now let's talk about financing, because this is one of the most revealing parts of the data. Of the 21 sales, 11 were all cash purchases. That's 52%. 8 were conventional financing, 1 was other or undisclosed. And here's the pattern I want you to really pay attention to, because this is the insight that tells you the most about this market. At $1,675,000 and above, every single sale was cash. Everyone. And those cash buyers were not negotiating discounts. They were paying 100% of list price or more in virtually every case. The 118% sale was cash. The 110.66% sale was cash. The 102.56% sale, cash. What does that tell us? It tells us that the buyers competing in the upper tier of this market are highly motivated, highly liquid, and not waiting around for a deal. They've done their research, they know what they want, and when the right property comes along, they move. If you are a buyer in that price range who needs financing, you need to be prepared and you need to be fast because you are competing against cash. For buyers in the $1 to $1.6 million range, the picture is slightly more nuanced. You'll find conventional financing is more common, there's a bit more room to negotiate, and the occasional concession does appear, but even here, the market is not soft. 100% list to sale ratios show up regularly, and the best properties still generate real competition. If you're getting serious about buying in this market, let me give you a few things to focus on that will help you make a smarter decision. First, pay attention to location within the island. South Whidbey is not one homogeneous market. Langley, Freeland, Bayview, and the more rural areas all have different price points, different lifestyles, and different buyer pools. Waterfront on Holmes Harbor is a different conversation than waterfront on Puget Sound. Know what you actually want before you start looking. Second, understand the condition premium. In the luxury segment, buyers expect turnkey. If a property has been well maintained, recently updated, and is genuinely move-in ready, expect to pay a premium and know that it's often worth it. Homes that need significant work in this price range can be genuinely difficult to finance, and renovation costs on the island can run higher than you expect. Third, and this is something most buyers underestimate, think about the practical logistics of island life. Ferry access, drive time to the mainland, internet connectivity, healthcare proximity. These things matter enormously for daily quality of life, and the best luxury purchase is the one that you've thought through holistically, not just aesthetically. And fourth, if you're in the upper price range above 1.6 million and you need financing, get your pre-approval dialed in before you even start touring homes. The data tells us you are going to be competing against cash buyers who can close in 2 weeks. Your preparation is your competitive advantage. All right, that is your South Whidbey luxury real estate market update for May 2026. Prices are up 10% year over year on the median. Cash buyers are dominating above 1.6 million. And the absorption rate tells us buyers have more breathing room right now than they've had in years. If you've got questions about a specific property, a specific price range, or you just want to talk through whether this market makes sense for your goals, I want to hear from you. Book a call using the Calendly link in the description below, or text me directly at the number listed there. I respond to every message personally, and there's zero pressure involved. If you're thinking about selling a luxury home on Whidbey Island, or you want to get ahead of the process, you're going to want to watch this next video. It covers exactly what to do 6 to 12 months before you list, so you walk away with maximum value. I'll link it right here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.